We start off this edition with some big news coming in from Afghanistan. There has been a blast in the capital, Kabul. According to the spokesperson of Taliban's Ministry of Information, at least 5 people have been killed in the blast, 10 have been injured. This blast took place at the entrance of the Eidgah Mosque, where a memorial service was being held for the mother of Taliban's Deputy Information Minister, Zabiullah Mujahid. The Eidgah Mosque is the second largest mosque in Kabul after the Pule Kishti Mosque. The visuals on your screen have been showing ambulances rushing to the mosque where the attack took place. As per the latest coming in, 3 people have been arrested near the blast site. No one has immediately claimed responsibility for the attack. However, since the Taliban took over Afghanistan in mid-August, attacks by the Islamic State group against them have increased, thus creating fears of a wider conflict between the two. Let's go straight across now to our correspondent Anas Malik, who's joining us live on the broadcast from Kabul. Anas, take us through what more we know at this point coming in.
Well, Molly, this was a huge explosion that was followed by gunfire that was heard miles from the explosion site. It took place outside the Eidgah Masjid. This is the second biggest mosque here in Kabul, where the condolence prayers for Zabiullah Mujahid's mothers were ongoing. I was at the condolence. I was there at the condolence prayer itself. I saw the Taliban leaders going in. I saw Shahabuddin Tilawat there. And this is clearly the first attack that is likely of one of those elements that the Taliban have been hinting that their biggest challenge here in Kabul has been to counter IS, the menace of Islamic State. The Taliban, in an interview to an Arab media outlet, had very clearly laid out. In fact, Zabiullah Mujahid just days ago had very clearly laid out that the challenge that the Taliban face is to counter IS, who has a concentration in Jalalabad and in Kabul. And today we're seeing this first major attack after the US withdrawal here in Kabul. That has possibly targeted the congregation or the condolence prayer that was of Zabiullah Mujahid's mother that was being held here in Kabul, very near to where I am. At least 14 people are local sources are saying that at least 14 to 15 people are killed, whereas 30 plus are injured. I spoke to the Ministry of Interior spokesperson Qari Khosti, and he has confirmed that at least 5 people have been killed, at least 10 who are injured, and at least 3 people who have been arrested from near the blast site. The casualties are expected to rise. Molly?
Right, as you're also telling us, 3 people have been arrested from near the blast site. What more do we know about them? Any initial details that have surfaced? Also, we're looking at this as an attack which has taken place at a time when the Taliban have been trying to tighten their grip over Afghanistan, and no one claiming responsibility at this time, but the attacks by the Islamic State group against the Taliban have been a huge cause of concern.
Well, yes, no group has formally taken responsibility as yet as we speak. However, the hand of IS involvement cannot be ruled out. As I said, the Islamic State had been attacking the Taliban in Jalalabad. The Taliban have had a major operation against the Islamic State in Nangarhar and Kunar provinces, where at least 60 people were arrested. Just 2 days back, there was a major operation here in Kabul as well, in Khairkhana area in the southwest of Kabul, where at least 8 IS or alleged IS members were arrested. If I talk to you about this explosion particularly, it is said to have happened at the gate or at the entrance of the Eidgah Masjid or Eidgah Mosque. Now, from the mosque's entrance, there's a courtyard that's about 200 to 300 meters, and then starts the mosque where these funeral condolences were being received by Zabiullah Mujahid himself. As I said, I was there. I saw the Taliban leaders there themselves, and quite with the Taliban leadership that were there. Now, the other thing that the important point is that Taliban's main USP was security. The fact that how following their takeover, the entire country was secure. So this attack would serve as something to deter the narrative that the Taliban were trying to portray, that the entire country is secure, and this would be a major pushback to the elements that were claiming that life has returned to normalcy, because clearly with this attack, that in which at least 10 people or at least 5 people are said to have been killed, which is confirmed by the Ministry of Interior spokesperson, and the casualty figure, mind you, is expected to rise because the number of people at the entrance, because there were a lot of guards, there were a lot of uniformed Taliban men from the elite Badri unit who were there. This blast took place very near to the mosque itself. It was at the entrance. It is still unclear whether it was a VBID, whether it was a suicide blast, whether it was an ID blast, but the intensity of the blast was certainly and the magnitude was certainly quite huge. As I said, I heard it miles away from the location from where it took place, and that was followed by gunfire itself. Molly?
Anas Malik getting us those details on that explosion that has rocked the Eidgah Mosque in Kabul, the second largest mosque there. We're leaving it there for the moment. Anas, thanks very much. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.